Hello. All right. Welcome to Astrology for Your Life today. This is John Lewis here. I haven't done a video probably in maybe a month or so. I'm trying to get a little bit better at that. Just so much things to do. That video that you got to see there was created by my oldest son for our Order of Melchizedek School of Astrology. Some of you know that we have an Order of Melchizedek School of Astrology. We're already in the 8th week now, maybe going toward the 9th week or something like that. It's a 12-week course. Because quite a few people, after we had started the course, wanted to become a part of it, we decided that most likely, I think that we will put the whole course on risingmystics.com Institute. That's Rising Mystics Institute, or www.risingmystics.com website. That's going to probably be sometime toward the end of the year. That will get up there. So those of you that miss out on the live teachings, very exciting level 1 School of Astrology, but we also went into some of the very advanced things, dealt with angelology, the angels of the zodiac, and so many other just wonderful things that we talked about as we covered that. You can see the syllabus at Order of you actually can see the syllabus at Rising Mystics, risingmystics.com of what we've studied. Just go under actually Order of Melchizedek School of Astrology. Been very exciting. All right, I got some astrology for you today. I wanted to share with you and just bring some things to your attention. It is just an awesome time that we're in. And at this time of the month, we're almost like midways of the month of July 2022. And so the angel of July is Virchiel. That's Vrchiel. So we work with angels and we invoke the angels of the months and stuff. And we're also working with the angel Muriel, Muriel. That is the angel of Cancer, of the sign of zodiac sign of Cancer, where the sun is now in tropical Western astrology. And it's very powerful as we work with these angels, as above, so below. Virchiel, it basically means the god of affection, the god of generosity, you know, the god of like life and vitality. And Muriel, it means like the angel of fragrance. So there we have, like, you know, that our incense ascending from our being is ascending as fragrance up before the Most High, before the throne of God. Now the external throne, but the internal throne also, and wherever, you know, God is, which is everywhere, we become that and we tap into that Muriel energy and to release our praise, our worship, our gratitude, and it becomes as a sweet fragrance. And we really need that in the world situations, because we invoke that into the world situations that are very stinky, smell of death, carnality, greed, pride, and all of those things there. But we invoke Muriel into those situations so that it can be changed, transmuted into something very powerful, something very good. We also invoke Virchiel, the angel of July. Now he really becomes activated around the 23rd of July as the sun moves into Leo. This is the lion face angel, and very powerful, the angel of love, affections, and generosity. So the universe is inviting you to just experience these energies and to experience these expressions that are out there, and know where you are and know what you're doing. We teach things like this not only in the School of Astrology, but in our master class on Monday night, Rising Mystics Master Class. Well, I want to get into some astrology here right now, and I want to deal with the full moon that is coming up, the full moon that is coming up actually on the 13th, I believe today is the 11th. So we have 7/11 here today. I've been trying to get to this message, but I could not get here until today. And I guess it is the right time. It is the right time. So I finally felt, it's like when you read the Bible, it says the word of the Lord came to the prophets. And so I finally felt the word of the Lord coming to me this morning. Get up and do it. So I just got up and just start to receive downloads. And so I wanted to share with you my chart. I cast a chart for the 13th because we're going to start with the 13th. Some of these things I probably shared maybe in the website, atam.org. And but I may go a little bit more in depth because I seem to always do when I'm speaking, new things come up. So I want to share with you a chart that I cast for the full moon that's going to be on the 13th. And let me find it here. And let's go over some points here and look at it. I want to see it like not just only in astrology. I'm doing astrology, but as you may or may not know, Magi's don't just only do astrology. We do predictions, prophecies, we do numerology. It's a combination of many things that all that really fit together, in this massive universe of knowledge and wisdom that is constantly being given to us every day for those of us who have an ear to hear. This is why the scripture I often quote, it says, the heavens declare the glory of God. Sifar, it's like a scroll that is being read out, the glory of God. The firmament shows forth his operations or his handiworks. Day unto night, there's knowledge, night unto night. And the scripture says that it is gushing forth. So you don't have to have a special gift or anything to understand this, although that works well, because you'll find that if you are an empath, intuitive, or if you have psychic abilities, prophetic abilities and stuff, it's just going to go right in sync with what the heavens are saying, because there's this one universal voice that speaks. This one universal voice is called by many names. Some call the voice Yeshua, Jesus. Some call Yahweh, Elohim. Some call Allah. Some call, Brahma. Some call this universal voice that speaks by many, many names. The Great Spirit, the Eagle, all of that. But it's the same voice that is speaking in every culture. And those that have an ear to hear what the Spirit is saying at that time. And that's what I want to do here today with you, is just give you some spiritual insight on what is happening and what possibly is going to be happening, so that you can align yourself with this that is taking place. Let me just pull up the chart here. This chart is going to be for, here it is, I believe. Yeah, the 31st, I believe that is it. And I think you can see it. Hopefully you can. And things kind of get moved around a little bit here. As you can see, this is a full moon, July 13th. And the time of the full moon is basically around 2:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And so although you may be here in the West, where I am at, you will not see the moon becomes completely full, but it will, so others on the other side will know. So that is the exact time. And it is important, like the timing of these things, because there is a time and a season for everything under the heavens, right? And so when we understand the times and the seasons as the sons and daughters of Issachar, we know what to do. We know what to do. Remember, those of you that are Bible scholars or raised in the Christian faith, you remember the story about the sons of Issachar, that they were called upon to know what to do in a time of crisis because they were the scientists, they were the astrologers, they were the mystics, they were the prophetic people that could read the heavens and read the earth, read the energies, and told the kings what to do. And you know what is so exciting about that is that the 12 tribes of the Hebrew nation, they were assigned zodiac signs, right? So the tribe of Issachar was assigned to Cancer. And this is where the sun is now. You know, it's a very powerful sign, and very intuitive people that are born under the sign of Cancer, very sensitive people. And so Issachar, you're a son or daughter of Issachar, although you may not be aware of it. Okay, now I want to look at this chart here. I'm going to go through some of the, point out some of the things here, and hopefully you can see it. I'm trying to make it a little bit bigger also for myself. And so we see the sun here. The sun is 21 degrees in Cancer. That's the way it will be when the moon is full. And the moon here will be 21 degrees in Capricorn. Now, there's a whole lot of information in there that I'm going to kind of like break down for you and stuff, because I think I might go a little bit numerology before we get into more into the astrological side of it. But you will come to understand that numerology and astrology, they go hand in hand together, because astrology is all about counting. Herein is wisdom. He that had understanding count, the book of Revelation says. So it's all about counting, you know. Matter of fact, the prophet Isaiah alluded to it in Isaiah 28, where it says, line upon line, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little, right? That Yahweh would teach the people. And so, you know, you do a trace study on those words and stuff. It speaks about putting the pebbles together and counting. And so astrology is very much a science of mathematics and counting of degrees, all right? And so we see that on the 13th, at that time, that there is 21 degrees here, and we see 21 degrees there. Now, but before we get into the degrees here, I want to just deal with the number 13. In Western concept of 13, 13 is always something negative. It represents rebellion. We do find a scripture, I believe the first time the number 13 is mentioned in Genesis, I believe chapter 14, and it speaks about the king Chedorlaomer, or something like that. His name, a very long name. I can't pronounce these Semitic names, right? Chedorlaomer. And in the 13th year, it said the people rebel. So that kind of sets a precedence for the negative side of 13, representing rebellion. And this is why possibly many hotels, you know, don't have a 13th floor. Then there's the Friday the 13th, the fear of 13, and all of that takes place. But I learned something a long time ago. I think it is in the book of Job, maybe 11:6 or somewhere around there. I haven't read it in many, many years. And it says that he would teach you the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to what is. And so let me translate that. That means for everything that you see, there's at least two expressions or two-sided meanings for it. So there's the negative side of 13 that people that use dark magic use, but there's the positive side of 13 also, which is the number of mastery. You see that Yeshua had 12 disciples and he was like number 13, right? So 13 is he was the master. So 13 is a number of master. We see that in the zodiac itself, we have three major traditional zodiac signs, but then there is the 13 Ophiuchus, right? We won't talk about that, right? And so the number 13 is a lunar number. It is a number representing lunar energy, because there are 13 13 basically moons, like in the lunar year, 13 moons in the lunar year. Okay. And also it represents like on the calendar, right? You know, and so in 13, like really coincides with the feminine energy, like a woman's cycle that is kind of like basically controlled by the lunar or the moon, right? And so this number 13 here is speaking of a lot of powerful feminine energy, a lot of mothering, nurturing energy. And that's just perfect because here we are with the sun in Cancer. Cancer, if you were looking at zodiac in a larger scale, or it would represent the fourth house down here. That is the house of the mother. Okay, this is where we come in at. That is the house of nurturing. That's the house of family, the house of the mother. Right. And so, but getting back to this 13 here and the positive side of it, it represents like your mind, your emotions. It represents your intellect and the things that are very, very close to your heart. And so we have not only a double witness, but we have several layered messages in this with the 13 that we're going to get to in just a minute. Okay, so we got this full moon that is happening in Capricorn. Now the moon, as I just said, represents the feminine aspect, the mother. It represents for yourself, it represents the soul of the mind there. And but we have the sun, which is in direct opposition, because this is the way it is when you have a full moon. They have to be in direct opposition. So you have the moon that is in Capricorn here. Now Capricorn, in the grander scale of things of the zodiac, is the 10th house. It is directly opposite of the 4th house, which is the mother. And so this is the 10th house, which would be Capricorn. So the 10th house would represent father. It represents authority and power and many, many other things, careers and all of that kinds of stuff too. But just so that you can see it on this level, that spirit is really dealing with family. Spirit is really, really just trying to deal with family and those that are close to your heart here. And here is this exchange of energy. The sun representing masculine energy and the moon representing feminine energy. But here is the sun in a feminine sign, which is Cancer here. And here is the moon in a masculine sign, which is Capricorn here. So we have this axis and it's happening at 21 degrees. So we not only have these sequences of 13 and 13 here because of the day and stuff here, but we also have, which if you would add 13 and 13, you come to what? 26. If you know anything about Hebrew gematria, the number 26 is the number of love. That is the number of love. And so the universe is saying to you to tap into your emotions, tap into the mother, tap into the love, tap into the nurturing, tap into that softer side of you. That's what the universe is inviting us to do. He's inviting the fathers and the mothers, the masculine, to do that, to tap into that level there and experience some things. And so this is the merging of the two energies, the father and the mother within. And what happens when two people come together, father, mother, male, female, they produce something. So this is a great and powerful time to create something new in your life, in your family, in your spirituality, in your career, or whatever. Because see, the moon that is in Capricorn represents the house of government, but it's also the house of banking and the house of career. Goes along with the 10th house here. This is where like your power here. So we have the moon that is in that space there that is inviting you to like tap into that and to bring something forth. And the merging of the sun and the moon into these two spaces is very powerful. That's inviting you to create something powerful, something new. Hallelujah. Okay. And so we have that taking place, and that it's a very powerful lunar eclipse. Another reason is because this is the closest that the sun will be to the earth this year out of all of the eclipses and things that did I say eclipse? It's a full moon. It is not an eclipse, in case I said eclipse. I was talking about eclipse last month, I believe. And so this is not an eclipse. This is a full moon. So this is the closest that the moon will be to the earth this year. It is a super moon. So what does that mean? That means that it's going to be a lot of light, a lot of exposure to things that's in darkness and stuff, things that's in darkness within us. Number one, we want to get our house in order, because remember the moon, remember the 4th house, remembers your house, your family, your house. You have to first get this house in order here, settle things here, bring closure in here before you can deal with your home, your kids, your grandkids, your husband, your wife, your uncles, your restaurants, your cats, your dogs, your siblings, and all of things like that. Deal with your house. I believe there was a man said at one time about 1,500 years or so ago. He said, as for me and my house, we're going to serve Yahweh. So you got to make a decision. You have to choose within yourself. And once you change the things within yourself, people that are around you that you're trying to change, that are not changing really, they will change. But as you start to change things within yourself, people, your surroundings, your external and people that you love, they will start to change, because every change and every attitude, behavior gives off a frequency. There's a vibrational frequency, and people respond to that. They react to that. So many times people react to what is going on internally, deep within. It may not be coming out of our mouth, but things that are going on internally. How do you feel about yourself? That's what this full moon is asking you in Capricorn. How do you feel about yourself? You know, how do you feel about, do you feel empowered? Do you feel that you are empowered, not empowered over someone else, but do you feel that you're walking in your power, in your authority that's been given to you? That's what the heavens are basically, you know, asking you in this situation here. And so the number 13 here is given so that we can master whatever it is that would make us feel not empowered, that would cause us to not know who we are, that amnesia stuff that we sometimes go through temporarily, hopefully. And but that the full moon is inviting you, is summoning you at this time to just come into the light, and come into your power, and allow the merging of these energies within you to transform you and to produce something very powerful, that creative force that is there within you. So now we've dealt with 13. I want to deal with, I think I interrupted myself. 13 plus 13 is 26. And in Hebrew thinking, gematria, that's the number of love. Okay, that's the number of love. Now, also, Yod He Wah-He, YHWH, numeric value is 26. Yahweh or God is love. So walk in that, experience that, very powerful. I told you that in this teaching or reading today, I'm going to just mix up numerology. I'm going to probably do Kabbalah. I'm going to probably do esoteric astrology, predictive astrology, and all kinds of stuff. You know, I'm just going to flow with whatever spirit is doing at this time, because I heard this voice, get up and do it now, right? Okay, so let's look at something else in here. When you're looking at degrees on a birth chart, a natal chart, okay, you have, like, say 21 degrees that the sun will be in Cancer, and 21 minutes here. And look down here. You will have the moon at 21 degrees in Capricorn and 21 minutes when the moon is exactly full. That is powerful. Why is it powerful? Because numbers matters. And for those of you that do read the Bible, the book of Numbers, Yahweh gave us the book of Numbers because it's all about numerology, you know? And so it's not just about all of this boring things that you read in there that, you know, that's just a very surface level for those who are not willing to go deeper. But when you really, really read it and allow it to read you, it is very exciting, very powerful. So we have 21. 2 plus 1 is 3, right? But look at this, 2 plus 1 is 3, but we have 21 4 times. So that comes to 84. Wow. 8 plus 4 is 12. Using Pythagorean math and method, 12, 1 plus 2 is 3. So we keep coming to the number 3. But before we just do that, let's just look at 21 here and what the universe is saying. Here we are in the 21st century. And so this powerful event that is happening in the month of July, not only this event here, but another one that is happening at the end of the month that we're going to talk about a little bit later. And so the Most High is preparing us for this 21st century, because as I told you on our last video, I believe, or I spoke in the master class, the events that were happening in April and in May and June, the astrological events were setting the stage for this part of the year. It was setting the stage for this part of the year where things are going to get really, really crazy. If you look at our video that we did, Year of the Tiger, we did prophecy for the year of 2022. I talked about the end of the year, what it was going to be like, and just the chaos and the politics and the other things that's going to be happening. And so here we are now. We've passed midpoint, and these events, like this full moon here, and some of the events I'm going to talk about a little bit later, are really just it is the activation of it, if you will, the activation of the things that will be happening over the next, let's see, August, September, October, November, December, January, the next 6 months, really, next 6 months of things that will be happening. We're going to deal with some of those things there. So we have 21 plus 21 plus 21 plus 21, that is 84. 8 plus 4 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. And so here it is again, the universe is calling us into this. But before we just look at that, I want to just show you this 21 here. I'm not for sure if you can see this. Let me go out of this. Maybe you can. This is the 21st letter of the Hebrew alphabet. I use this. This is one of my cards that I use even as an oracle card, like the Hebrew alphabets, because they're very powerful, right? And so the numeric value of Sheen is 3. Look at that. That is the 21st letter of the Hebrew alphabet. There are no coincidences. This is why I told you that if you're intuitive, if you're an empath, psychic, prophetic, whatever you want to call it, whatever, when you get into astrology, when you understand astrology, you're going to understand that it all flows together, numerology and everything, because the universe is constantly speaking, because there's one voice, that is out there, that's the voice of truth. And that truth is spoken in every culture. They hear it maybe a little bit differently, but it is the same truth that is spoken. That voice is given many, many names. And so here we have the 21st letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Numeric value is 300. And this is the way it would look like if you were to write it in Hebrew. And you find these flames on the top of it. This is the way that you would make it. You've seen that symbol. I've talked about this for decades and stuff, the sheen there. And so this is the vibration of that. And which it basically means, you know, to crush or destroy. It means like to consume, okay, to consume. And so basically what the universe is saying to you on one side, not to allow yourself to be consumed by the external things that are going to be happening in the world situation. Don't allow yourself to be consumed and destroyed by these things. Rather, you become the consumer of light, of goodness, of truth, and all of the wonderful, positive, high vibrational things, and you will not be consumed by the things of this world. That is one of the meanings of that. I think you got that, the 21, 21, 21, 21st century, and the 2 plus 1 is 3, 8 plus 4, 84 is 12, and 1 plus 2 of the 12, we could break down 12, which represents, you know, government and order and all of that, right? But the 1 plus 2 is 3, again, which is representing wholeness and completeness for the spirit, soul, and body, just as if you would see here on the sheen here, you would see the 3 parts here. That is the fire. I don't have time to really get into the teaching Hebrew alphabets. You have the fire here, the fire here, the fire here, which represents spirit, soul, and body that must be filled with the fire of the Most High God. Now let's get off that before I start getting into something else here. All right, so we have that manifesting for us there. All right, so I'm going to just go on here. I think I've shown you, well, let me just look at some other possible aspects regarding this. Oh, that's the wrong, okay. Get the right chart up here. Okay, so we're looking at this, right? And so we're seeing that this is on the 13th, right? Okay, so align yourself with this. The universe is saying, get your house in order, bring everything to light that needs to come to light, and just flow with it and allow spirit to really just move within you. Now, you see down here, you see, hang on, you might hear some birds in the background. I think the boys are not taking care of them or something. And so down here, you will see Pluto, and you will see is conjunct with the full moon. Pluto is conjunct with the full moon in Capricorn. Now, we are in the middle of a Pluto return in the U.S. Or after 246 years, Pluto has come to the same spot that it was that they signed the Declaration of Independence. January, I think it was January, February, we experienced the first part of it. And the 4th and the 12th, we're experiencing the second part of it. And again in December, where this energy is hitting there. And basically the energy is telling us in the US that you got to reset, you got to start over, you got to get it right, because Pluto is uncovering everything in the house of government. And that is the 10th house, which is Capricorn. It represents government, and Pluto is the planet of transformation. But it will dig deep, and it will bring everything to the surface. Not only in our life, but out there in the world system. So if you watch the news, which I do from time to time, because I want to know what is going on in this world, because many times I speak and prophesy into what is taking place and stuff. You're seeing revelations come forth in the government like never before, and it's going to get worse. You see this close conjunct here between 21 and 27 degrees with this full moon. What is this saying? That the moon, the light of the moon, this full moon that's coming, that's closest to the earth as it will have been this year or will be this year, is going to bring to light a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things are going to be exposed and uncovered. And of course, a lot of people don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. You still have those that are out there that want to live in la la land, that want to live in illusions and deceptions. They like it. It's okay. It's okay if that's where people want to be. Let them be, as Yeshua said to his disciples. Leave them alone, as the prophet said. Leave them where they are. If they decide to transform and grow, it's okay, whether it's your family members or whatever. So Pluto is the planet of transformation. And here it is being triggered by this full moon here that's going to bring everything to the surface, even within your life, deep things that will be coming to the surface and causing you to really just look at stuff. But it is also about like intuition, because Pluto rules the 8th house, which is the house of Scorpio, which is the house of dreams, psychic abilities, powers, intuition, and all this kinds of stuff. And so it is a time really to tap into your intuition, your prophetic abilities, and to just, how can I say this? Maybe focus, meditate, pray, fast or whatever, to really, really tap within, and you're going to discover a lot of wonderful things there. And so we have the moon here in this. And so again, the universe is saying also to surrender. Now there's the sun that is conjunct with Mercury here. And we see it is, okay, yeah, there's a conjunct, right? Because anything that's within 10 degrees is a conjunct. And so here's the sun that is conjunct within Mercury here. And so this Mercury represents the sign of intellect, it represents intellect, education. It represents, things that have to do with that. Also, it has some things to do with like electronics and things of that sort, communication and stuff. So here we have the sun that is being triggered by, is triggering Mercury here with this. And so you're going to begin to experience clarity, more understanding, more revelation, knowledge, more insight, more understanding, because of the closeness, the nearness of the sun with Mercury here, in both in Cancer here. And the Cancer is the house of the mother, nurturing, tapping into the soul. And so that's an invitation, like, to really just to clear things out, to get clarity on stuff, to tap into that ability that is within you. And then again, here's Mercury. Here is Pluto and the moon here that is there, and some things that are going to be taking place there. We're talking about like on the emotional level, things that are just manifesting. Okay, now I think I'm not going to deal a whole lot with other aspects here, but you see in this chart here, where I'm going to go to in the next phase of this teaching here, you see that Mercury on the 13th will be, not Mercury, sorry, but Mars will be on the 13th. Let me get a little drink here. Okay, you see that Mars will be like at 6 degrees of Taurus here. And it's getting closer and closer to these two objects. This is the North Node, and this is Uranus. It's getting closer and closer. Now, and I'm going to be talking about this. Things are going to get really intense toward the end of the month, because that's when they're going to conjunct, and that is a rare triple conjunct. And we're going to talk about that in just a little while here. So, okay, we're in a time of like transition. The governments are transitioning, all kinds of things, light shining on not only the moonlight, the full moon in Capricorn, not only the government, the politics, but the financial world. That is also coming under the scope of this full moon, this light. So everything is being lit up. And matter of fact, your desire and what you should be doing in life, you know, if you really tap in, more clarity will come to you during this time, because see, Capricorn is also the house of careers. And so with a full moon there at 21 degrees there in Capricorn, and with the sun there, and with the conjunct with Mercury, you know, there should be some clarity on what you're doing, which direction that you want to go in, and just embrace that, and just begin to experience those wonderful events here. Now, I'm going to just kind of slide out of this here, and I'm going to go into another chart. Okay, I think I'm taking a little bit too much time on that, because there's so much in the astrology there, and that we could see and that we could read into. It's just amazing. Like, you know, as the scripture says, moment to moment, these things are happening. And one of the other things that I just forgot to point out is the number 13. The 13th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Mem, which is water. Okay. And what is the element of Cancer? Water. So the 13th. So we yet have all of these various signs. Let me just show you here before we slide into our next part here. And I won't take very long for that. These are my Hebrew alphabet cards. I teach the Hebrew alphabet, the more so mystical side of it, astrological side of it, because all of that is there in the cards. And so if I can find my mem here, they're not in order because I'm always shuffling and divining information, okay, from these cards here. Let me just, that is strange. It is not there. So it must be in the box. But anyway, just know that mem, I was going to show you what it looked like. I may have it on my table here somewhere. Mem also correlates with that, and that is water. Okay. I don't want to get into some other things. All right. So now I want to just share with you about the second half of July, and take this throughout the end of the year. Okay, this is where it becomes a little bit more predictive and a little bit more like in depth, like, you know, this part of the astrology and understanding things here. And I posted some of this on the website, I think maybe a week or so ago at atam.org. But I want to just like touch on it here, and maybe shed some light on some things and show you some things that's about to happen, and some things to be praying for, because it is a very interesting time. Now, we noticed that at the beginning of the month, there was a lot of celebration on one side, but on the other side, there was a lot of anger of people in this country with Roe versus Wade. I'm not here to talk about that. Matter of fact, we did a master class on it about a week, I think, before the verdict and stuff, and basically alluded to what would be happening based on the movements of the heavens, because the information is out there. The heavens are sharing, they're not shared, that there are a lot of people would be very disappointed because of the decision making that would happen on that day. And let me just get to this other chart here. Nope, it's not that one. Okay, I think I'm going to just pull it right off of the website, and that way I can maybe easily access it better. I did cast one earlier, but this might just be a bit more easier to do. Okay. Let's see here. Give me a second here. With this technology, I got quite a few things that are open up, and I want to get to this here. I think I'm there now. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay, I believe that you can see that. That is off the website here, but let me get to here. This is where I want to go. And I think I'm going to make that a little bit smaller so you can see all of the chart here. And I'm going to try to bring this up a bit. Okay. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more smaller. Okay. Okay. And hopefully you can see that. I think that is still there in the screen share. Okay. This chart was cast for the 31st. I believe it was the 31st of July. And I want to just point out some things to you that's going to be taking place here, because I think it's very important. We talked about this last year. I mentioned it maybe a couple of times early part of this year. And some of the things that I do as a astrologer, you know, one that reads the heavens and stuff. I also look at the past, and I've done this as you go through my website on atm.org over and over. Will tell you an event that is happening in heaven now, okay, and what was happening, say maybe 100 years ago, 200 years ago, because we can do that. This is math, right? And so this is the science of the heavens. So you can look back and see where the positions of the heavens were, you know, back to infinity. Matter of fact, and go forward, you know, and see where the heavens were, you know, because we have the technology to do that with, you know, software to see, and then we can read in that. And so what I do is this, and have done this for many years. I always look and see what was happening on the planet during the time that there was a conjunct that was exactly like what is happening or very similar. Okay, I look, and then I know by that the same energy that was manifesting, if it was 100 years ago, 300 years ago, 500 years ago, 5,000 years ago, it will be manifesting again, okay, on the earth, right? Because as the wisest man said, there is nothing new under the sun, because we have this great wheel, this clock out there in the heavens telling us what time it is. And when we learn to read the time, we know what to do. Okay, let's see. Now here, this is the 31st of July. As I said, the first part of July, we had a lot of celebration with the pro-life people because of what was happening in the courts and the decisions that was made. Then we had a lot of people that was not very happy. And a lot of it had to do with this little glyph here. It is called a Lilith, a black Lilith, okay? You won't see it on many of the zodiac charts that you cast. You have to kind of search around to find one that will show it. But this one here shows it. This is a black Lilith. And you find this Lilith that is on the, let's see, on the 31st will be 12 degrees in Cancer. But it was at a different degree, a lesser degree in Cancer, I think around 6 or 7 degree during the time that the decision was made with Roe versus Wade. And I told people, I says, okay, I says, Black Lilith is not empowered, very little strength. If you know anything about the mythology of Lilith and stuff, you know, I'm not going to get into a whole lot of the details of it, but she was the mother that basically kind of killed her kids and stuff. As a matter of fact, she made a pact, you know, that you know, so many of her kids could be destroyed and stuff. And so this is astrology. This is mythology, which is actually history, which is our present day truth now when you understand how to read the heavens. I always tell people for decades, since I did astrology, the book on tribal scope, they say, well, how do you understand this? And I says, get familiar with mythology. If you get familiar with mythology, astrology will make more sense, because what they've told you is myth is actually history. Don't say that out loud. People will think you're crazy, right? Okay, that's ancient history of the gods, the Nephilim that the Bible speaks of, and all of these other things that were on the earth, okay, at that time. So we find that Lilith here, the Black Lilith, represents many things. It doesn't only just represent, you know, a mother that is considered like, how can I say, a mother that is disconnected from the child, the family and stuff, or that destroys that, or I think the term could be like a castrating mother. That's in an astrological term, whether it is physical death or whether it is leaving the family. It doesn't only mean that, but there's some positive sides to it. If you remember, I told you that the secrets of wisdom are double to what is double. So there's at least twofold like meanings like to this. And so, but the positive side, I don't really want to get into a lot right now because it'll take us off from where we're going. But just to show you that the degrees of Lilith in Cancer, the house of the mother, was around 6-7 degrees, I believe. I don't have that chart before me here. And so it wasn't strengthened. It wasn't very powered at that time. And so things had to happen the way that they happened because the order of the heavens had already declared it. And then you have Venus, the goddess of love, this feminine energy right there also. And you have this conjunct there. And so, and then you have, again in Cancer here. But now let's just move on. So now we're coming toward the end of the month. Where this is coming for the end of the month. This chart is cast for the end of the month. And I'm not going to take a long time with this, but we see that Lilith has strengthened. She's at 12 degrees in Cancer. And so, and she's aspecting and squaring with planets that are in Taurus and stuff, powerful planets that are in Taurus, Mars, which is one, and Saturn, which is another. And so, and I've been telling people toward the end of the month, there's going to be some major protests, and end of the month, all the way until like early part of next month. We know that there are protests happening now, but things are going to really increase. And when I read this chart here, things could turn violent. We hope not. But I see this aspect, this squaring in the house of Taurus at 18 degrees with Mars and with the Lilith moon and with Venus here. And so it is telling me that things are going to get shaken up because we have here Uranus, the planet of the awakener, and the one that shakes things up and turns things upside down. And so we have that there, and we have this this north node, which is considered like a malefic celestial orb. Is not a planet, but it is very powerful out there. So we have these three here that will all be conjunct. We have Uranus, we have Mars, and we have the North Node, which is called Rahu, or in Hindi, I believe it is, or Sanskrit, it is called like the head of the dragon. So we have this very powerful conjunct here, and this conjunct hasn't happened since around 1885. This conjunct in Taurus has not happened since that. And that's one of the main points that I want to talk about here, because it's going to affect a lot of things, not only just what is happening out there with the protests and the disagreements, the pro-choice, the pro-life people, and all of that, that could turn violent toward the end of the month, and some major things happening here. But this is also showing some major protests and other things that will be happening toward the end of the month, not just here in this country, but worldwide, especially the Western world, but as well as in other countries also. So it's showing us a lot of just upsetting uproar, a lot of things that's going to be happening on the planet here because of this very, very tight, conjunct of three very powerful planets. And Mars is considered a malefic planet, but there's positive sides of it also. Rahu, or the North Node, is considered a malefic planet, but there's positive side. And we know that Uranus is just going to shake things up. And on some hands, some people consider it as something negative. Okay. But sometimes we need to be shaken up. We need things to be just brought to the surface, to explode with that Martian energy and stuff, so that things can get right. All right. And that's where we're headed with this. Now, I'm going to just show you a few things here. Let me see. What did I write down? Where I want to start here. I want to hurry and get through this because I'm taking way too long for this. But as I say, with astrology, it just goes on and on and on. Now, one thing I want to point to your mind here, I believe it was the last video that we did on astrology, or maybe it was the one before that, but we've been telling our master class since last year that when we come to this time of the year, the summer, that it would be a marking time for shifts to happen in leadership on the planet, where major leaders would become ill, would become assassinated, would be resigning. And we're documented on record saying that in a master class, and also I believe in one of the videos, that recent videos that we've done. And I told you that eclipse that happened, I believe it was in May and June, those eclipses, that was the sign, that was the time. And I even told you that that you would start to see some world leaders, some leaks about their health. And I believe it was days later, just within a very short time, it was leaked about Putin's health, and the cancer and stuff. And then another world leader, I believe that was President Xi of China, his health and what was going on. All of that was leaked out because the heavens had declared it. Now I'm telling you, we've had, within 1 week's time, we've had Boris Johnson resign. We've had the ex-president of Japan, Shinzo, assassinated, okay? And then we had the president of Sri Lanka just a few days ago resign, and the mob burned his house, burned the presidential palace, destroyed it, And so we're in this time now where major leaders, again, as we've been saying, will be instantly removed off the scene. You will see them, and then you won't see them. And that is also including within the next, say, August, within the next 6 months, I don't see President Biden in office. I'm not saying that he's going to be dead or nothing like that, but maybe I shouldn't be saying this here, but I just don't see him. And I told people that since last summer, because of the way the astrology and the spirit is like showing us that there's going to be a change in this country. And so remember, I told you about this full moon is preparing us for these shifts, major shifts that's going to take place. I also told you that I see the Queen being phased out. I'll say it that way. I see the Queen of England being phased out, within the next several months or so. And so there's going to be a lot of things happening on the planet with world leaders and stuff. And because there has to be regime change, as it were, there has to be different people placed in to positions of power, because the universe is trying to do something, and is doing something very powerful for those of us who are listening. And those that will not listen, or those that will give in to the dark side or to other things and stuff, they will be removed. Okay, so I won't go further with that, but just take note of that. You're about to see more things happen. Okay, so I'm going to look at this chart here. We're looking at this, and we were talking about degrees earlier, remember? Notice that all of these planets are like at 18 degrees, 18. 1 + 8 is 9. And let me just quickly show you here, because I'm doing a mixture of numerology, astrology, and gematria, and all of this other stuff here. Look at this here. The 9th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Tet. Is a very powerful card. I love this. It is a snake because it represents many, many things. Wisdom, of course, it represents, but it represents many other things. And so it reduces to 9. And this is basically the glyph for it. It is basically the serpent that is eating its tail, which represents death and rebirth, death and rebirth, death and rebirth. And remember, I just told you a little while ago that that with this Pluto return, the U.S. must go through a reset, and so we got to be reborn. We got to be born again as a nation. And I'm not talking about in the Judeo-Christian terminology. I'm talking about a lot of the old must fall away, and it's not going to happen overnight. But we are, with Pluto's return, that is speaking about transformation. It is happening. And a lot is happening behind the scenes that you don't see. And there's a lot of angelic help that is happening, galactic help, if you will, that is happening behind the scenes that will be known later, will be understood later. And so we are connecting with those forces and bringing in these things here. So let me just get back to, let me look at my notes. Otherwise, I will forget to say something here. Okay. But back to this event here. Now you see 18 degrees, 18 degrees, 18 degrees. Now, whenever you have a planet, well, triple conjunct with 18 degrees and stuff like that, that represents worst case scenarios. Now, let me just take you a little bit further here and go down here. You see that directly opposite of Rahu, or the North Node, which represents our goals, our aspiration as the collective people on the planet, where we should be headed and stuff. And we see the direct opposite is K2, the tail of the dragon, is 18 degrees in Scorpio. That's letting us know that before you can go where you really, really want to go and fulfill your destiny, you got to fulfill all of this stuff in the house of secrets, which is Scorpio, and which deals with the things that may be death. Death doesn't necessarily mean like physical death, but the things that are dead in your life that are not producing anything, the carnal mindedness or negativity and other things that are hidden and stuff, not saying you go and expose yourself to the world, but deal with those things. And like on a global scale, what the universe is basically saying is that that we will not be able to pass. You know how Gandalf said, "You shall not pass." And so that's what the spirit is saying to America. I don't care how much you pray, the evangelicals pray, fast, and do all of these other things and stuff, and they can put anybody in office if they want you. You shall not pass until you deal with your past. Until you really look at the injustices, the racism, and all of the other stuff, and really, really look at, you will not pass and you will not prosper. Whew, that's kind of hard to say, but that's what the heavens are saying. And notice here, the house of finance, which is the second house that rules Taurus rules here, that's where our collective destiny is. In other words, to be prosperous, to be successful in life at whatever you choose. Your level of success is different from my level or definition of success. But he's saying that you cannot pass until you deal with these things. On a national level, we cannot pass. We cannot come out of this recession or whatever that's going to go up and down and for quite some time until next year, until some things really, really be dealt with. That means legislation, laws passed, and various things that's going to have to be addressed. And then you can begin to possibly move into that as a collective country because of this Pluto return, right? And on an individual level, that's there. So we have 18, 18, 18. You have Uranus right here that is 18 degrees of Taurus. Now, Uranus is going to be in Taurus, I believe, until like around the 2026 here, and it's going to be shaking things up because see, everything in the financial market, in the financial world, the stocks and everything, it has to be reset. It has to be redone, not only in this country, but globally. The crypto space that's heavily manipulated and stuff, and we've been prophesying into that and seeing, things happening that was supposed to happen. And then Spirit began to reveal that, yes, this is where we could have been, but because we haven't dealt with stuff back here with K2 and stuff, the tail of the dragon, everything is being reset in the financial world, the crypto world, the stock markets, and all of that. Matter of fact, around the end of the month of July, this is showing me that there's going to be a drop again. There's going to be a drop again, and it's going to affect a lot of things. Now, Taurus, I'm sort of talking fast because it's coming to me, right? And I need to hurry up and finish with this. But Taurus is the second house that represents your possessions, represent land, represents houses, represent your money and things of that sort, your personal money that you earn. And so we see that things are going to begin to happen around the end of the month and into early part of August. And I'm not saying that it's going to just completely just drop, but there's going to be things are going to become very volatile as it comes toward that time, not just necessarily on that day, because the way the energy works is there's a buildup, like there's a buildup right now to this full moon that is happening and the other things that will be happening at the end of the month. This is why we see major world leaders resigning and other things happening, right? Because this energy is forcing them. This energy is out there, and it is awakening the people to rise up and to stand up, because that's what this Uranus does. This is the awakening. It is going to awaken the conscience of people, and they will stand up. They will use the fires of Mars, the aggression, or whatever it is to get things done, right? And I'm not saying that everything that they get done is going to be right, but I'm just showing you what the heavens are saying here. And so we see this. And so most likely toward the end of the month, there's going to be another drop of the stock market and stuff. And eventually we'll bounce back. It's going to become very volatile back and forth throughout the year. That is also in the crypto space too, that I feel that we're going to see that. And I'm just reading this basically what I feel and what I'm sensing that Spirit is saying to me. So we have this 18, 18, 18 here. And okay, let's see here. Okay, yeah. And so I dealt with the 9. I believe I dealt with that. And so when you have this conjunct like this with the number 18, that's like extreme. That means basically like things were going to be very extreme. This goes back to not only the protests and things that's going to be happening in this country. Matter of fact, I told our class, I believe maybe a month or so ago, and I said that they're going to create an issue in this country here to create more riots and stuff. I said there's going to be another police shooting that's going to be extreme, you know, that's going to bring stuff, you know, that's to the head. And so you saw what happened with the young man, you know, over 60 times shot. And they say it's just justifiable. And so that was a fulfillment of what was spoken. And that's helping to fuel this momentum of that's going to be happening on many fronts. We'll have the pro-choice people, we'll have the people protesting for social justice, the Black Lives Matter, and all of these other various groups. And of course, you have the crazy people out there, you know, the white supremacists and all of these other people out there. And so this summer is getting to a point where it's going to get to a tipping point. That's what I want to say, is getting to a tipping point because of the positioning of these planets here. And it's not only just for the summer, but this is preparing us for the fall season that I've been talking about since last fall. I said this fall season is going to be crazy. The political climate is going to be crazy, everything. And so everything that you think you knew, people that you thought you knew, and people are going to be saying stuff right on TV. I'm talking about politicians, and I'm talking about the uncovering. I'm prophesying now. I see, and I feel that Russia is going to somehow uncover some stuff on some major political people, some very, very scandalous stuff that they are waiting to just release sometime toward the end of summer to early fall. And so there's going to be some, and it may not be traced back to Russia at first, but eventually it will. But they have some information, and that's going to be released on some politicians and stuff that's going to be very scandalous. And there's going to be all types of other scandals regarding sex trafficking and different things. Why? Because we have K2, the tail of the dragon, right here in Scorpio that controls the house of sex and stuff. And so we have this conjunct with this 18, and we know that 666, you know, hang on one second, please. Let me just check this here. We know that 666, you know, is used as a negative number, but it is not only a negative number, but it is also positive. But just for the sake of like the negative side here, when you read Revelation 13, like I told you, Revelation 13, the number 13, July 13, mastery number, right? Okay. And so here in his wisdom, let him that had understanding count, okay, the number, the name, and the mark, okay, of this bestial system. That is the negative side of it that is there, whose number is 666. Okay, right. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay. And so, but the positive side of this is back to the positive side of Teth, as I see. It's birth, it's birth, it's birth, it's rebirth, you know, death and rebirth. We got to die to the self, die to other things like that. And then we have like, see, 1, 2, okay. Let me look at some of the other aspects here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, all right, okay, here we go. I had to just check that. So we have 18, 18, 18, and then we have 18 here. 18 times 4 is what? 72. That's a power number. That's a master number. And I don't want to get off into that. Don't draw me into that. That's crazy. But we have another master number. When you break 72 down, 7 plus 2 is what? 9. Universe is constantly saying through gematria, through numerology, through astrology, through the degrees and everything, that is a time of death and rebirth. Number one, for this nation here, we got to reset. And I'm not saying that the country's going to blow up, nothing like that, but there's a lot of things that we're hanging on to that we got to let die out. We got to be able to move on. But in order for that to happen, it's going to take the awakening planet of Uranus to shake things up. And it's going to take Mars, this Martian influence and stuff that's going to erupt in some people on a lower vibration in the area of violence and other stuff that is happening. So we see these are coming together for this very powerful thing. But the outcome of it, will be very positive. The outcome. We got to go through the fires of Mars, before we can get to the other side. This is also showing you that when the sun is in Leo, as I think we posted this in January, and you're the tiger and stuff, that the war would intensify. It's going to seem to intensify. And I also saw the plans. We're praying that these things don't happen, that end of July to sometime between July to like September, right in that space, maybe August, that there were plans to just unleash a tactical nuclear weapon, you know, in a limited area, or biological stuff. And so we see that happening there, that they want to do in Ukraine. We're praying against that, of course. And I believe that prayer can uncover things, and with the people that are doing these things here. But let me just quickly go on here. Now, the last time that we had this conjunct of Uranus, Mars, and Rahu, or the North Node in Taurus, was around 1855. And then you go back and you can look it up. This is what I do when I find, major conjuncts. I find the last time that they happened, and then I look at the news of what was happening in that day, and that gives me some prophetic insight. Okay, so I'm telling you some of these secrets of astrology. It gives me insight. You might say, "Wow, I don't believe it works like that." Well, if you are a Bible believer and you read the book of Daniel, you find Daniel did the same thing. The other prophets did the same thing. He wanted to know what was going to happen, so he had to go and get the book of Jeremiah. And he looked at what Jeremiah, another prophet, had said earlier, and what Isaiah had said, and was able to read what was happening in their day and match it to his day. And so he was able to expand upon that prophecy into a present truth reality, to know how long the Babylonian captivity was going to last. That's what it was based on. And so it's very powerful when you understand that and understand that for those of you that may be Christians out there that don't think that this is the prophets in your Bible, they were astrologers. They were astrologers. They understood the heavens. Yeshua himself, he says, watch the hour. Hebrew or the Greek New Testament, watch is the word scopus, in ours, horus. This is where we get the word horoscope from. So Yeshua basically says, cast the horoscope, watch the hour. Then he says, watch what's going to be happening in the sun, the moon, and the constellations. He's saying, learn astrology, because you're going to know exactly what is happening, because it was the astrologers that announced the first coming of Yeshua. It would be the astrologers that announced the next coming, because we're watching and we know. Okay, so now we find that this conjunct here happened back around 1885. And, now listen to this. This is very crazy. And I think I dealt with some of this early part of the year, either last year, because in the was coming up to this. Now, what was the climate of the people at that time? There was a lot of political unrest, and it had to do with the state of Kansas. Clue. Okay, just watch. It had to do with the state of Kansas, and what was happening there? Some of the unrest dealt with voter fraud. There is nothing new under the sun. At the exact same 1855. This exact conjunct was in Taurus, not another sign, but Taurus. This is how we know what will be happening this time. All right. And so there was a big protest and everything, because people were coming from outer state to vote, because they didn't want slavery to end. And they did not want the slaves, the people that had been kidnapped and brought to this country and their descendants, to have the right to vote, or any rights at all. Black-white issues, racial issues, nothing new under the sun. Voter suppression issues, nothing new under the sun. You look at the news, what are they saying? There's the big lie that's out there that, someone won the election, but it was taken from them, And then wait till this fall comes around. It's going to be crazy. So the heavens are showing you this. But I want to let you know that it was not only just about voters fraud, but that was the tipping point that led into the Civil War. Selah, think about it. It was on about voters fraud. It was about trying to suppress the rights of other people. Okay, Georgia, Florida. Okay, you can go right down the line. That became the tipping point that started the Civil War. So we have Mars here again, showing us where this nation is headed and showing us who and the people that are involved that's steering it this way to repeat historical events in this time. Now, I'm only just telling you what the heavens are saying. You do not have to be a part of that. You do not have to experience all of the negative side of those things that are going to be taking place and stuff. You can be the observer. You can be the one that is praying. You can be the one that is watching the hour, as Yeshua said, and you can be the one that is that's aware and enlightening others and not getting caught up into all of this stuff. Now, even tomorrow, there is a big event happening in the heavens and stuff that's going to be affecting this planet here. So I would say to you, watch, if you watch the news or read the news or whatever, watch for different legislations and different things that are being signed and stuff that may be brought in and stuff. That's going to be really interesting. But let me just move on a little bit here, and I'm going to end on this note here. Now, with all of these triple conjuncts in the house of Taurus, and Taurus being an earth sign, the heavens are telling me to get ready for a series of major earthquakes. A series of major earthquakes on the planet. And these earthquakes won't just be like in one part of the world, but it's going to be like a ricochet. It's like what I'm seeing. Like now, I'm seeing like a ricochet. Like, for example, one may be in Asia, another may be in Africa, another may be in South America or North America, another may be like in Eastern Europe, Russia, or some, but there's going to be like just a ricochet of earthquakes taking place. These earthquakes will not be like, I'm not talking about like 5, but these will be over 5, possibly most likely over 6, and some into the 7 mark. I'm kind of careful how I go out, step out there. Sometimes I can, predict exactly, and we posted that on the website before, but you're going to see these things happen. You're going to see a lot of geomagnetic things happening because this is an earth sign, and we have all of this energy. It's called a stellarium, and I'm not even dealing with this one here because that goes into relationships, the vertex. We're not even dealing with that, but we have all of this energy that is there in the house of Taurus that is very, very just powerful here. And then we have these squarings that's taking place with Venus and with this Lilith, black moon, taking place at the same time. And so it's going to be very interesting what happened over the next several days and months following this. And the thing that you want to just take away from this is basically the election issues, okay, and leaders and other things that they are bringing forth, and that they are trying to manipulate in some way to just create more problems on the planet for whatever reason. You want to take away from this that everything is being revealed. A lot of stuff that you didn't know of is being revealed in the government era because Pluto and that conjunct there, with this full moon that's taking place is going to cause a lot of stuff to just really just manifest. What you're going to see also in the pro-choice arena, you're going to see them kind of like getting fired up toward the end of the month, early part of next month. You're going to see major protests, most likely from both sides. And there's a strong possibility that it can become violent because you have that Mars there that is squaring there again. And so, and then you will have this at that time, there will be like, let's see here. Yeah, there will be a new moon in Leo. Ooh, Leo, there's fire. So we have a lot of fire there. Leo, we have Mars and stuff like that. So we have all of this. And then we have some other things that are taking place, which is going to interact the consciousness of people on the planet, and the energy in the heavens will interact with the earth, creating like earth changes, okay, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, creating X-class solar flares, like hitting the earth. And then you have add to the thing that they turned on CERN. And you know what? They're doing stuff that you don't really not aware of. When they announce that they're turning on, that is not the only time that they're turning it on. And so something's going to be happening close to around this season also. They may even announce it toward the end of the month that they will be doing some other stuff, but I don't doubt it that they will be doing some stuff around the end of the month that's going to help to go along with and help to create a lot of stuff that's going to be happening on the planet. Another thing you want to take place, you want to take away from this is just unusual surprise and events happening. Okay, unusual surprise and events coming toward the end of the month on into, like, say, the first week of August, okay, because that energy is there. You're going to see a major shaking in the economy and the stocks again, coming toward the end of the month to the first part of August. Again, just only giving you information before it's out there. The energy is also saying to us, Spirit is saying to us that, we want to be praying over the air system, the airway system and stuff like that, because I could see like commercial planes, jets, like, just, crashes, explosions, things like that. So you want to be praying over things like that. Those are some of the things that we're just like looking into. Also, one of the other things that with this arrangement and this 3 triple conjunct there, I would not be surprised before summer is over that some of the NATO countries get involved in the war, that there's going to be some type of skirmishes there between the borders of Western Europe and Russia. And so 1 or 2 countries may somehow get pulled in for a time, because there are people that want to expand the war west of Ukraine into Western Europe, Southeastern Europe rather, and even further. So there's all of this that is going on. So some things just to kind of like just pray about and to be aware of. And I hope this blessed you, this information from the heavens, and just continue to just align yourself with the things of the Spirit and be watchful and aware. And bless you. Okay, but don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I always forget to tell people subscribe. Send this video to at least about 10 people. At least 10 people, come on. And don't forget to like this video, even if you don't like some of the things I said, like it anyway. All right. And so we want to just thank you for that. Okay, have a great day, great morning. Okay, goodbye. Okay.